What's going on, guys? Today we are talking about... Not that I was going to overshoot that, but I got a little bit twirly. Today we are talking about how I got into motorcycle riding. So the story starts out when I first started dating my girlfriend. I went to her house for the first time, and her next door neighbor had an E36 that was just sitting outside rotting. And the first time I ever went over there, I told myself, I'm gonna own that thing one day. And so, about a year and a half into us dating... Oh, don't hit me, please. Thank you. About a year and a half into us dating, my girlfriend tells me that her neighbor was thinking about selling that car. There's no way I just stalled right now. Jeez, I was caught somewhere between first and neutral. I was like, oh, I'm interested, let me know. And so the neighbor ends up texting me, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna sell it for $1,500. I'm pretty sure it just needs a new water pump and a valve cover gasket. And I was like, cool, let me come take a look at it. I'm probably gonna buy it anyhow. So it had some battery problems. I ended up taking a look at it a few days later, and I went over, and he told me, yeah, there's some, like, the battery needs to be replaced, blah, blah, blah. So tell you what, I'll knock the price down to $500. I mean, the body was clean, the interior was great. Okay, I had a whole bunch of spiders everywhere, but aside from that, it was fantastic. Make a little stop here and make it a little better. Amazon, driving literally anything but Amazon trucks. So I ended up owning that car for about 9 months or 10 months, something like that. And I had kind of done everything I wanted to do to it-ish. I mean, if I could buy it back now, I definitely would. Because what I ended up... almost got in that rut. Hello, brother. So what I ended up doing was just valve cover gasket, water pump. I had to replace the radiator a few times because the rad fan was off for whatever reason, and then I ended up figuring out the reason, which is that it was shredding radiators apart. So, but other than that, I did pretty much those three things, and it was fine. And I drove it around. It was just the perfect little daily. It had like 215,000 miles on it, but it ran like an absolute beauty. Now, fast forward to a couple months later, like 9 or 10, something like that months later, and I was like, okay, I think I've had my time with it. I bought a manual transmission for it, and I had everything but the drive shaft, and I just not lost motivation, but couldn't commit to ripping a perfectly good auto trans out, even though I really wanted it to be stick. So I ended up listing it for sale. Ooh, twisty turnies! Hey. Oh, come on! Come on! The speed limit's 55 here. Let's see if we can get there. Is it 50? It's 50. Oh, we're already at 50. Okay. So I listed the car for sale, and I was getting a few bites, you know. There were some decent offers, but nothing I was really looking for. And then I was like, you know what? This was going to be a trade-up anyhow. And when I first bought it, I was like, oh, you know, I can trade it up. Maybe one day I can get into like a Tesla or something. Trade. Then what ended up happening was I saw this orange R6 online. It was a 2005 R6. And it had like 8,000 or 9,000 miles, and I had never ridden a motorcycle before. I had maybe a total of 2 minutes on a motorcycle before. I said, you know what? Let me offer this guy a trade. See what... Worst case, he just says no, or tells me off, or whatever. And to my surprise, he said, yeah, I'll take a look. I've been wanting to build a drift car for a while now. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. I've always wanted to ride a motorcycle. You know, I had tons of motorcycle toys when I was a little kid, and I've always just wanted to experience it. And so we met up. We were texting for a couple days. We ended up meeting about an hour and a half south, kind of closer to his place, but an hour and a half south to where I live. I brought my friend Akash with me. Akash has been riding motorcycles for a long time. Pull off here, let these guys pass me. 1, 2, 3. I think that's it. So I brought my friend Akash with me to come check out the motorcycle because he knows all about bikes. He rides a Ninja now, so far as I know. I'm pretty sure he actually rode a Harley still at the time. But we drove down, he drove my car, and I drove the BMW down to go meet this guy. The guy drove the car around, he thought it was great, wanted to trade, and then Akash rode the R6. He came back, he said it was all good. I knew like sorta how to ride a motorcycle a little bit, but I'd never like ridden one. So I putted it around the parking lot real quick. I stalled it like twice, and I came back and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we ended up trading, and then I drove my car home, and Akash rode the motorcycle home. And Akash is telling me, oh man, you know, I really want a sport bike now. Or it was either that or like, man, this thing rides really nice and really smooth. So keep in mind, right? We got home. My mom had no idea that I was doing this. So my mom got home, and she was pissed. She was so upset. Understandably, her kid just went out and bought a crotch rocket in her eyes. And yes, R6s are crotch rockets through and through. I understood where she was coming from, and you know, that's the old saying, beg for forgiveness, not permission. So about an hour of talking later, she kind of came to terms that I own this thing. And I told her, you know, I was gonna go buy gear and I was gonna get my motorcycle license, because I didn't even have one. And that's what I did. I scheduled a motorcycle class that night. I ended up going to, oh my god, killer debris right there. I ended up taking an MSF course at Harley Davidson over in Sacramento. I passed that, flying colors, and I just started riding it. And let me tell you, the first time I hopped on a freeway, it was terrifying. Getting on at 65, 70, 80 miles an hour just to keep up with the flow of traffic, because California, oh my god, it was terrifying. Trying to find all those potholes ahead of time and trying to figure out where the ruts were. Whew, it was a scary moment in my life. But I got better quickly at it, and I slowly started riding it. It was still mostly my car because I picked it up in November, so it was cold. But as spring came around, I started riding it a bunch. 600s are fun. Getting to rev it that high, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000 RPM is crazy. And it's a vast contrast to what I'm riding now, which we'll get to. But fast forward a couple months to September 21st, 2024. I had owned the R6 for less than a year. And I was just riding down a back road, actually one of the back roads close to where I was just riding, and I was gonna go meet my mom's boyfriend's son to go ride, because he rides an MT10, and hopefully he gets on the channel eventually too, just to, you guys can see him wheelie, it's ridiculous. But look at all this development. Wow. Full bar, open now. Brodies. I was riding up to meet him. I get not even 3 miles away from my house, and at a four-way stop sign, this guy just didn't stop. I was turning left. He was going straight from my left side. I looked left. I looked right. I started going. I looked left again, and I went, ah, shit, he didn't stop. So I go to the ICU. I go blah, 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 blah. So I was down an R6 because in that motorcycle accident, the car hit me from the left side right here. What the hell? The car hit me from the left side and ended up actually cracking the frame, like right here, straight through down a weld. And when I finally went to go pick it up from where it got towed to, I saw that and I was like, man, no more R6. It was total. I mean, if you have a crack through your frame on a motorcycle, me personally, I'm not trusting it. So yeah, I was in a boot for months and was just getting through life, motorcyclist, which really sucked because in the time that I owned the R6, I also ended up picking up a Vespa a month after I bought the R6, which is the red one that I ride now on the channel. And I also had a 300cc white one, which was, it was supposed to be the in-between of a 600 and a 150. The red one's a 150. So it was supposed to be the in-between, and it just felt like a road couch. It just felt weird. It didn't want to turn correctly. It was too heavy for a Vespa. It was arguably too fast for a Vespa. So shortly after my accident, I ended up selling it. But I did still have the red one, and I do still have the red one, obviously. You guys just saw a video a couple days ago with it. Then about a week and a half ago, I think at this point, you guys saw me post that video on picking my Z125 up. Oh! And apparently not shifting my Z125 correctly. And pretty much that's how I've got here. So I'm pretty sure I got licensed in November of 2023. So it's been a little under 2 years of me riding, and in that time, I fell in love with it. Now I'm on the slow one because my mom my mom doesn't approve of me on a fast bike anymore. But I think she's come to terms with understanding that it is something I really enjoy, and because of that, it's going to be really hard to keep me away from this. So, wow, this light is still green. Oh, now it's yellow, and now I'm U-turning. Oh, this thing is so slow. Woohoo! So yeah, that's essentially how I ended up where I'm at. And oh no, am I gonna make it? I did not commit a crime today. That's where I ended up where I am today, on a Z125 and a Vespa. And as much as I wish that I had another R6, because okay, I do wish that I had another R6. There's kind of no caveats to that, because the R6, specifically the 2005, it was such a good bike. It was scary as hell to start on, I will admit. It was way too fast for any beginner, or for a lot of beginners. I've driven stick my whole life, so learning the stick part wasn't hard, but learning how to control that power was. I caught on pretty quickly, but now that I'm used to that level of power, I really want a 600 again. I don't think I'll ever do a leader bike, just for the sole fact that I test rode an MT10 at 30% throttle in first gear. I pulled up the front wheel, and I didn't know how to wheelie, and I still don't really know how to wheelie, and that terrified me. So I think that's a little bit too much Tukenhosen power for me. But I really do. Please don't run into me. Thank you. So yeah, but I do really miss having a 600, because the 2005 in specific was very easy to ride. The way that the engine mapping was tuned, it had more than enough torque to go around, just putt around in low RPM, but then still, when you got into that higher RPM, it was just so good. And the riding position was nice. This, for me, is too far upright, right? Riding this for a while is going to hurt my back. But riding my R6 had a little bit more upright than the ones that you usually see, but still a very sporty position, and it felt so good. It was just a really good bike. I haven't ridden a ton of other bikes, if I'm being honest, but at lower RPMs, it wasn't groaning like it wanted you to floor it. But once you got up closer to like 9,000 RPM, it did want to go. And so it was kind of the best of both worlds. But from here, for better or worse, at least for now, I'm gonna be sticking to this. A little Z125 bad boy. It maxes out at 9,000 RPM or somewhere in there. And once you get past right about here, right about 6,500 RPM, it just feels like it's groaning. Not for you to go faster, but for you to shift, please. Ooh, this is scary. I forgot oh my god. I'm fishtailing. Okay, we're good. Pizza, beer, and wine. That sounds yummy. Oh. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of how I got into riding, and life's been lifing recently. So I started a motovlog because I got a new helmet, and I was like, you know what? Let me get a camera so that I can at least have a dash cam. And then I was like, well, let me just splurge on like a mic and like a lighter helmet and blah blah blah, and I'll just start yapping, because even it makes it enjoyable. It makes riding enjoyable and not feel lonely, almost. Because I don't have a lot of friends who ride near me without riding like an hour to go ride with someone else. So the fact that I can still be talking to someone, whether it's someone on a cardo or you guys, hello, just makes it cool. It just gives me, if anything, it just gives me a reason to go ride, and that's more than enough. It's just a different experience. In a car, you can't look over there and be like, wow, that's a pretty weird structure, but a pretty structure nonetheless. It's just not the same. Riding around, getting smacked by bugs, Jesus Christ, it's a good time. So anyhow, that's the story of how I got into riding, and yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and what's the last one? Suck my butt or something? I don't know. Stay tuned for the next one. Akash is supposed to be coming up here in the next couple days, so we should be riding together. He said he's showing up on 2 wheels, so we'll see if we can get him to do a little bit of wheelie practice, and I'll get some wheelie practice into it. But yeah, anyhow, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So, see ya.